You're listening to Cain, Randy, and Brooke on Scratch the Vinyl.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the show. You made it back to Scratch the Vinyl, and we are so glad that you guys are listening. We've had so much stuff going on. It's been a whirlwind. We passed through. We got through 50 episodes. We've been together for over a year now. I mean, it's just been going fantastic, and I owe it all to all of the listeners out there, and I also owe it to my co-hosts. I mean, you guys know me. I'm your guy. I'm Cain Stevens. But do you know the other guys? I think you do. First off, let me bring him on right now. He is the Godzilla of entertainment. He is. I mean, he's knocking down buildings. He's knocking you over and picking you back up and knocking you over again. He's the guy who you love. We all love him. He's Uncle Randy. He's Mr. Chill, Randy Wilson. Randy, how are you doing?
Well, I always love that you make me feel larger than life. And you are correct. I mean, can you believe we've been doing this for over a year now? And we appreciate all of our listeners out there, and good to be on the show again today.
It is, man. It's been fantastic. It's been a journey. You know, I've been podcasting for about 6 years now, but this is the most fun I've had. This is what I've always kind of been shooting for, is a show with friends of mine and just having a blast talking about the thing that I love the most, and you guys love the most too as the listeners, is music. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And let's bring on somebody who makes it a little more fun each episode. I love talking to her. She's a blast. I literally think that she is one of the funniest ladies I've ever met. It's Brooke Johnson. Brooke, Big Red, the Big Red Machine. How are you doing?
Hey, Kate, I'm wonderful. I don't know about funny. It's just accidental sometimes. It just comes out like, just spit it out. And then I have to go home and, get my sins forgiven for what I've said. I don't know. I have a great time. I did go through and look at some of the history and all the videos and stuff that you make. It's been a great journey. It has been so much fun. And you're a really good editor too, because you make me sound a little bit funnier than I am.
I appreciate the things you say, but you got to know you are pretty funny. I mean, I can only imagine you as a kid, Brooke. You had to have been like an absolute blast. I'm sure the things you said were completely hilarious all the time.
Well, I did have, my mom was pretty funny too. She would always sing us songs before we go to bed, but they're made up, and I do it to my kids. And yeah, we were the shit ass kids. Go to bed. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I was a little awkward.
If the show isn't action packed enough with just the co-hosts that I have and everything else, we have. Could you guess it, everybody? We have another awesome guest. We have a guy that is so tied in, and a guy who's won and accomplished so many things. I mean, it makes me, when I look at his accomplishments, it makes me want to go work harder as a musician. It makes me want to get off my butt, grab that guitar, and do something. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of it here real quick. He's a songwriter. He's a producer. He plays guitar, piano, bass. He does the drums. He plays harmonica. And that's just the short end of the list. All right. He's been in the Nebraska and South Dakota Country Music Hall of Fame. He's in the Iowa Music Hall of Fame. He's performed everywhere. He performed in my favorite place on earth, which is Branson, Missouri. He's performed in Nashville and all over. If that isn't a good enough, he's also probably the best dang Elvis impersonator I've ever seen. Let's bring him on right now. Bill Chrastil, how are you doing?
Good morning.
And I'm so pumped that you're on this show. I mean, it's a music show naturally with the brush that we've all had. Everyone in Lincoln, I bet, has had a brush with you. You really are like an Elvis sighting here in town. Like, hey, I just saw Bill.
Oh, that's a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, you were just performing at it was a birthday party, and it was a good friend of mine, Val.
Yes.
And I saw you, and you looked the same as you did when I was in high school and got to see you as Elvis. And I felt little starstruck.
Oh, listen
And I
to
had to
you.
go, and I was like, oh my God, you guys have to go talk to him. And then, yeah, and my friends, they're going to be so excited to watch this one and to listen to this one because she still talks about you to this day with Elvis. So I'm pretty sure she has a picture of you still in her room.
Well, thank you guys for inviting me today.
Yeah, I'm glad we're here.
I'm excited to be on here. It's going to be fun.
Bill, you have a phenomenal gospel voice in general. I mean, just absolutely, to me, stunning. And I say that because I have a big background around gospel on the fact that I kind of like bounce back and forth from here in Lincoln to the Branson area where my grandparents lived like my entire childhood. So I went to so a ridiculous amount of gospel shows and just the shows down there. I mean, they're not just for old people. Like if you just love music, oh my gosh, it's a fantastic place. And when I hear you sing and I get on your website and I check out some of your music, I mean, it just takes me back, man. I mean, you really do have a great, crisp sound. But what got you into gospel? What really made you want to? I mean, was it the King? Was it Elvis? What got you into all this?
It was Elvis. Nobody sings gospel music like Elvis does. I mean, it just reaches your soul, comes right into you. And I got to sing at my church yesterday for Easter, and I was just I just love the. And I don't know what it is about gospel music, but it just grabs you. It just grabs you, and the more you get into the song, the more you start feeling stuff, and by the end of the song, it's amazing.
It really is. I mean, it just kind of, even if you're not religious, it makes you feel fantastic. There's something about it that I can't describe to you. I would give you guys that homework right now as listeners. Throw on a gospel album. You don't even have. I mean, I'm sorry if you don't subscribe to. It's. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion and thoughts, but just put it on for the sole musical value, and you will feel fantastic when you leave. You know, after you've listened to all that.
It's like a lot of Elvis gospel stuff. It starts out nice and you're just sitting there just imagining things, and at the end of the song, man, it is just a big boom and just incredible, and it's like just reaching out to God, reaching out to that soul, and that's the part about I love Elvis gospel music because it takes you from here to here, and it's just amazing.
I have an uncle that gospel and he also with opera. But when he does gospel, we are from a small town and in this church that we were at, and it was a smaller church, but you could hear him blocks away. I mean, you could be shopping at the grocery store and you could hear him just belt out. And my grandmother as well. And so when they would start singing, it just took you to a different place. And it was so, oh man, it reached your heart. And I've
Yeah.
heard you perform and it does. Like, I mean, it just takes you to a different place.
When I started in the business way back when, my grandmother was a guitar player. That's what got me started in the guitar, and she would sing some gospel music as well, playing the guitar. And I was just amazed watching her fingers move on that guitar and getting that sound coming out of there and her voice coming out of there. And my mom and her sisters were singers as well, and so it really started way back before I even got into the Elvis thing, listening to gospel music. But Elvis was the one that really drug it out of me. That one of my favorites, of course, How Great Thou Art. But when he does that song, Lead Me, Guide Me, man, it's just,
I was just going to say that. How Great Thou Art. That was the song my grandmother would sing. And it was just, oh man, I don't know. I'm speechless. That's weird, but I was, man, I just want to hear you sing it right now. I love it.
he, that was the last song I did yesterday at church was How Great Thou Art.
My mother-in-law is a piano and organ player, and I always tell her because she's so phenomenal and she's so humble, but she's always telling me like, yeah, I guess I get to play Christmas and Easter. And I'm like, Pam, I'm like, you get to play the big shows. Like when it comes to church, it doesn't get any bigger. Like, I mean, that's like being at the Super Bowl stage. If you're, I mean, it's just what an incredible feeling, right?
It is. It is. It's a Christmas time. One of my favorites there is as Mary Did You Know? That song, the middle of that song just is powerful.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're right, you're absolutely right. Different times of the year, man. It's amazing.
So, Bill, did you really then get your start singing in the church? Is that kind of how you got going, or what's the
Not
story there?
really. Like I said, I was watching my grandmother play, and then my mom and her sisters. They were all country western singers. Now they never left our living room, but they sang every country song you could imagine, and that's what got me started in Hank Williams stuff like that. It got me on the guitar. But when I first started, I was never going to sing. I was just going to play guitar, and we were doing the VFW club on Cornhusker Highway when I was here, and we had to use sheet music and a music stand back then. And this couple come dancing by, and they hit that music stand, and the sheet music went flying. Now the kid singing the song, he didn't know the words, but I knew the words because I played the song for my mom and her sisters. So I walked up to the microphone and started singing, and the song was Hank Williams, "Your Cheating Heart." That song changed my musical direction because that's when I first started singing.
That's a great story.
It's amazing how fate will step in, and then a lot of my show just evolved through the years.
Yeah. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about kind of your journey to where you're at right now?
Well, of course, my first show was in 1973. It was with my sister Emily, and it was her and I. And it was kind of a Greg and Marsha Brady thing, from the Brady Bunch. I played guitar and she did the tambourine. She did all the singing. And our first job was New Year's Eve in Malcolm, Nebraska, at a place called the Branched Oak Inn, in the basement on a dirt floor for a Budweiser New Year's Eve party. That was my first booking. And from there, I started evolving into the band thing and started Timberwolf, my band, in 1974. And we did all the high school dances, the senior proms, the homecomings, and all that. So we traveled around doing that. And then Timberwolf was my band back then. And we took every weekend we'd be playing somewhere. And during high school, we'd be doing the Goodyear morning Christmas party. So that started at 7 o'clock in the morning. So we were out to Earl's bar out there, and we had to play at 7 o'clock in the morning, go to school, and come back and play that night at Earl's. And so that was fun back then. I just great times. But I was 16 when I first started doing my Elvis part. So I'd been playing in the band for a couple of years, and then I went out to see a friend of mine, Jim McManaman. He was the first Elvis guy here in town. And I went out and watched him at a place called the Rendezvous. And I remember it like it was yesterday. He come out there and he had this guitar on, and I was 14. I think he was 24 at the time. And he had this guitar strapped on, and they started Promised Land. And here he come out there, Elvis, and he started kicking it. And I was like, whoa, that just blew me away. So at 16, I started doing my first Elvis show. And the first show, I still remember, it didn't go very well. My dad, in fact, my dad came downstairs the next day in my room, and he said, he goes, "Well, I got to talk to you about something." I said, "What's that?" And he goes, "If you're going to do Elvis, you're going to have to move. You can't stand there." I said, "Well, what do you mean, Dad?" So here he is down there. My dad was a policeman, and here he is downstairs trying to show me these Elvis moves. And so he got this Sergeant Chrastil downstairs, and he's about 220 pounds, and he's trying to show me these Elvis moves, and I'm just my dad. Wow. So that the Elvis thing evolved watching a lot of videos, and of course back then, I bought my first VCR, and I recorded a lot of every time there was an Elvis thing on TV, I recorded it and just watched all the moves. So I had the Elvis thing going, and then the band thing going, and no matter what direction Timberwolf went, we always did the Elvis set. 1983, when we went on the road full time, and I had an agent out of Omaha called Panko Entertainment Agency, and they kept us busy up until in 1990. I started doing my single, and the reason I started that is because during the years time, guys' goals change, so you're always replacing somebody all the time, and I just wanted to do something more stable that I could enjoy and not really have to worry about rehearsing the same stuff over and over and over again. So I started doing my single in 1990 at a place here in Lincoln called the Cattle Company. And that was at 27th and Holdrege store. It was the old Safeway store they turned into a restaurant lounge. And that was my first doing my single. And I've been doing my single ever since. And so I've been in Nashville. I won awards down in Rio Grande Valley, Texas, down there, doing shows down there. And so, like I said, everything just kind of evolved. But the best part is, man, I still love it like it's my first time every time I do a show. I did 335 shows last year.
Man, you're getting after it. I mean, I would argue that you're the new hardest working man in show business. You know, especially like local show business. You are the guy.
Well, I got with an organization in Omaha called Merrymakers, and they do a lot of places they can't afford to have entertainment. They're an organization that has donations and stuff, and they're just phenomenal. I think they got 14 or 15 artists on their roster, and I was fortunate to get with them. So I do care centers, memory care units, retirement communities. I do all kinds of things for them, and I do big 12 to 18 shows a month for them as well. So, and it's that takes me to parts of Nebraska I never knew existed, and for these folks to enjoy music.
What
Well,
do you?
I will tell you, you brought up something. I am old enough to remember seeing the Jimmy Mack shows over at the Twin Dragons and Sherry's Dining and Dancing.
Yeah, Sherry's. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He did New Year's with me last year. He's going to do New Year's with me again this year.
I was wondering if he was still performing.
Oh,
I hadn't seen him.
absolutely, absolutely.
That's crazy. Well, I'm glad to hear that, because that was like a regular thing, man. Every week, like you always had shows going on.
You know it.
Just kind of like you working hard.
Absolutely. Well, you were talking about Jimmy. He was my first. Well, he's my mentor, and I think he's an absolute legend. But he was the first guy that I went over to his house. He talked to my dad. My dad asked him if he could show me some things on the guitar. So I went over to his house just after I started, 14 years old, and I get there and I think I'm going to guitar lesson. Oh no, I got a life's lesson. He looked at me and he said, "Now here's the deal. If you're not going to treat this music like a business," he said, "I want you to get up and go home right now." That was and I never forgot that, ever. So that was the best thing Jimmy ever told me. It is a business.
Well, you got to remind yourself of that. You know, it is a business. In the entertainment business is everything that everybody says it is, right? It's a tough business out there, but if you maintain your composure, you kind of maintain your being a good person, you can kind of negate around all of the bad stuff. And I think that
Oh, absolutely.
you've lived a cool life, and I think you've had a pretty good career, great career actually, as someone with integrity.
It, the amazing thing about it is, like I tell everybody, I say, you got to keep your personal life together. The booze, the drugs, whatever, because look at the outcome of that. It's not good. So you got to keep that all under control and exercise, work out, and do all the stuff that you need to do. But the main thing is have fun. Got to have fun.
Well, let me tell you, you are a lot of fun. I have got to see you perform. It was mostly Elvis though, and still to this day, my friends still talk about it. And I don't know, I think it was us and the moms were completely, just Twitter pated when you walked in. And we were talking about moves and stuff that your dad were doing. We were up there moving with you too. We were a dance team. I think we had everybody going.
See, that's the best part. Once everybody starts getting into it and coming up there and having a great time, boy, then it just flows.
Man, you have a great performance. You honestly, are you Elvis though? Because I hear he's still around. You're a little young though, so
Elvis would have been this past January 8th. Elvis would have been 90.
Jeez.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well,
he would have been 90 years old.
You just dared me, Brooke. I told you before I was gonna ask him, so I'm just gonna do it. So there's a guy out there, all right, for you conspiracy theorists. The chills are gonna run down your spine. There's a guy named Bob Joyce he's a preacher, a singer, and there are some strange things behind this guy. They've tried to compare like dental photos and everything, and there are people that really still believe to this day that the king exists. So I got to ask you, my friend, is he still around, or did the king unfortunately pass?
I'm going to say he passed, and I'm going to give you an example. My dad was, like I said, he was a policeman. He was in charge of Elvis's security in 1977 when he came to Lincoln, and he said that at that time they had oxygen and stuff with him on the road, and he said he was not in the best of health. So I'm going with it. He sadly passed away.
Well, that's how big of a legend he was. I mean, there's literal Elvis sightings like Bigfoot, right? Like I'm pretty sure Elvis and Bigfoot live in the same regions and they kind of cross the same paths. But
Speaking about that, Bob, I don't think he's near 90, is he?
no,
Yeah.
that's the smoking gun on it that people ignore is that I don't think he's anywhere close to that age.
Yeah, I don't think so. And there was a song out a few years ago, and I do the song. It's called "One Pair of Hands," and everybody said it was an Elvis song because the guy sounded great, just close to Elvis, but it wasn't him. And it's a beautiful song, and I wish Elvis would have recorded it because it's just a phenomenal song. But everybody said, well, no, it says on YouTube, and I said, well, you can pretty much write anything on YouTube. I said, if it had been an Elvis song, I said, Elvis Presley Enterprises would have had a big production.
All right, let's frickin' go. Let's do the thing that we do. Let's now talk about our great sponsors. Let's run that Elegant Sasquatch ad. Let's talk about the people, places, and things that keep this show going and support us. We'll do the local roundup. We'll talk about all the great things happening in this fine area that we call home. And then we'll get back to it with this amazing guest, Bill Chrastil. Welcome to the Late Late Show with your host, Squatch.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We have a controversial guest tonight. He claims to have the world's smelliest beard and doesn't plan to do anything about it in the foreseeable future. Let's bring him on right now. He wants to be brought on by what he goes by on his socials, Toxic Beard 87.
Hey, calm down. Don't hate the smells of it sells.
Hello, my toxic friend. Let me ask you something. With brands like the Elegant Sasquatch Beard Company, why do you choose to smell like a rotten egg on Easter?
It all started when I was 16 years old. My beard was growing like a forest full of pine trees, and it was time for me to find a delicious scent to make Cindy Jo fall in love with me. I found a beard oil in a store, and I thought for sure she was going to be mine. I caked it on, and I was so proud of the way I smelled and how I looked. As soon as I saw Cindy Jo, I went running over to her, but instead of her embracing me and taking me in, she told me to go away and told me I smelled terrible. It was the worst day of my life. It was right then that I vowed that I would never put another product in my beard again. And so here I am, Toxic Beard Guy 87, and I'm not going anywhere.
Well, if I'd gone through that, it'd been tough for me to show my face again, too. But luckily, there's companies like the Elegant Sasquatch Beard Company that have multiple products that'll have girls like Cindy Jo melting in the palm of your hand.
Sasquatch, do you really think that there's a product for me?
Yes, my friend. There are beard balms, beard oils, beard butters, and beard washes that will make your whiskers the talk of the town. You'll be smelling like a dozen roses, and you'll be looking the best you've ever looked.
I would give anything to get Cindy Jo to talk to me just once again. Where can I get this amazing product?
Head on over to elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com and find yourself getting lost in the amount of items that they have to offer, including beard boxes as well, with the full line of some of their favorite products.
There's only one thing left to do. I'm going to go over to Etsy right now, and I'm going to buy as much product as I can, and I'm going to find Cindy Jo, and I'm going to win her over. Thanks again, Squatch.
You heard it here, folks. We changed his mind. Next on the show, we'll have a doll with an eating disorder. Then we'll have squirrels riding skateboards. Till then, head on over to Etsy right now. Tell them that the Scratch the Vinyl podcast sent you.
All right, let's get into the local roundup right now. I'm so excited to get back to our guests, but we have even more excitement here in this town. So let's not waste it. Let's get into it. First off, let's start at Gray's Keg. Friday night, they've got Smutty Bingo. Smutty Bingo returns, and it is naughty for all you out there. So you 21 and over folks, go there. It's free to play. Win those naughty prizes and have a great time playing Smutty Bingo. Saturday night, they have Castor Valor, a mix of originals and cover songs. I've heard a lot of great things about them from the owners, and it's sure to be a blast. Also, the Zoo Bar has coming up here Friday. For the FAC, they have Lloyd McCarter and the Honky Tonk Revival. The Late Show is Andy William and the Nebraska All-Stars. Saturday, the Zoo Bar has, for their early show, they have the Roe Hempel Band. And then later on, they have none other than Josh Hoyer and Soul Colossal. So those are some darn good shows there at the Zoo Bar. Let's move on over to 1867 now, because they've got an action-packed weekend. Friday, they've got Framing Hanley for the Flowers Tour with Makeout, Rookie of the Year, Sierra, Annie, and Blondo. It's 6 p.m. doors, all ages show, $20. You can't miss it. Saturday, they've got Ski Mask, Pigsty, and Man for $15. I believe that's at doors at 7 p.m. Show is at 8 p.m., all ages. And then Sunday, they've also got a show. So on Sunday, they've got Restless Spirit with Abrams, Phantom Colt, and Fuzz. So get there, 7 p.m., all ages, $15. Man, what a lineup at 1867. Last but certainly not least, we have Madsen's Bowling and Billiards. We love this place. We love the owners. We love what they've done, rocking on the lanes. And they've got the Half Nicks returning there. I've heard a lot of great things about this band. I was kind of looking into it, and it looks like they're hard-hitting blues-based rock band with a soulful driving edge. That's what they're kind of deeming it as. And they do all your favorites with a nice little twist. So get out there, go to Madsen's Bowling and Billiards, and if you go to any of these shows, talk about Scratch the Vinyl. Mention Scratch the Vinyl to everybody. We're the pulse of your town, and we're telling you, we're making your weekend plans for you. So there's so much going on here. So aside from that, we have our amazing sponsors. Obviously, we talk about Gray's Keg, Tam O'Shanter's. We have Roots Music Shop. Of course, I blab about that place all the time. I love it. As a musician, they have done me so well over the years. As a producer, they do even better. Ryan always works with me on new and used items. I can't say enough about that place. Sliding Tattoo. I know you guys are sitting on that nest egg still. You're holding on to it for dear life for a rainy day. Well, it's raining right now. Spend that tax money on some new tattoos. I can't think of a better thing to spend it on. I mean, unless you're trying to feed your family. And you have to choose between the two. Maybe you just get like a lesser tattoo and you still eat. So go to Slang Tattoo. Go see Bryce. Tell him Cain and Scratch the Vinyl said hi. We also have American Senior Benefits. Get a hold of Jason DeGosh. He's the best in the business, and he will take care of you for all your needs. Ask for Jason DeGosh at American Senior Benefits. And then last but not least, we have Backtrack Records. We picked those guys up. We're glad to be a part of it. I'm already a customer anyway. It was a no-brainer. I absolutely love this place. There's no record store in town that is more fun than this place. And another just side note, they're always open earlier than the others. So if you're out there and out and about early on, around 10 o'clock, they're usually open then before the other stores are. So go hit Backtrack Records before then. And then, do whatever it is you do. But really, after you go there, you're going to have everything you need. So get to Backtrack Records. And now let's get back to our guest, Bill Chrastil.
Well, here it says we have on here on your page, Elvis Extravaganza, first place regional,
Yeah.
and first place in the world.
Yeah. That was a world competition out in Las Vegas.
That is insane. In Vegas, of all places. I mean,
Yeah.
that is crazy. I mean, may I ask, will you say something in Elvis?
Well, hang on a second. Let me grab this.
Yes.
Love me tender, love me sweet, Never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true. All my dreams fulfilled. For my darling Brooke, I love you, and I always will.
Oh my God.
Well, there you go, Brooke.
You
You
know,
just got
yeah.
serenaded by
Oh,
Elvis.
I almost started crying a little bit. That was amazing. I seriously, I'm like, I don't know. Okay, I'm supposed to be getting married, but you know what? Are you? Oh man, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Yep, it oh, my friend Holly's gonna be so angry that I got that. Oh, that's beautiful. Yep, just like I remember.
Knew I should have had him in studio, and I could have. I
Oh,
I hope Zoom doesn't butcher the audio. I could hear his voice well, but I wanted to hear that crisp, beautiful guitar that he was playing. So that was awesome, though. Thank you for that, man.
Thank
it's
you.
more like this. It's thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Get that lip.
Yeah, what's everybody's Elvis? And I told Brooke, the only thing I got is What else do you guys got? What do you got, Brooke?
Mine's a hunk of burning love, but that's Randy's. Mine was just thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Me and Brooke say that all the time. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna say it all day at work now today, and I'm gonna think about you the whole time. I might even do some Elvis moves.
Well, there you go.
I tell this story all the time. The very first record I ever got when I was whatever, as high as I could be to put a record on a turntable, was I had an Elvis Presley 45 and of basically what you just sang, and I played it over and over and over again until finally my parents would let me get more records.
There you go. That was a motivator, wasn't it?
It was. And I do, you know how people remember like important things in life? Like I still remember where I was the day I heard Elvis died on the radio. Like it's like vivid in my memory. And he was such an impact on music. And I still enjoy seeing, a lot of the old stuff and the clips. And I've watched that video of him doing Unchained Melody from that performance here in Lincoln.
Isn't that amazing?
I've been 100 times.
Amazing. Just amazing.
I played in cover bands. I played in a lot of bands over the years. And I mean, even everybody has like at least a Elvis song of some sort. We tried to do medleys with it. So we would do Hound Dog, Suspicious Minds, and That's All Right in a strange medley. But oddly, like it's just like it just wasn't enough to do for the King, like especially Suspicious Minds. Like that's one of those, that's my favorite personal Elvis song. And that to me in music, there's nothing like it where they break down and they slow down for a moment and Elvis gets so personal. Like, man, I can imagine every woman in the place. I'll bet their bras just popped off their bodies when Elvis did.
I'm sorry, but mine almost did. Okay, I didn't want to bring it up, but I almost did it. I almost threw it but I can't throw it through the computer. Okay.
I was doing, when you said that, I was doing a show in Iowa and at the casino there, and I forgot what song I was doing, and then we had the lights on both sides of the stage, and I seen this shadow coming out of there. It looked like a big pizza coming through the air, and it wrapped around my arm, and there was a pair of panties, and they were probably about 3 foot wide, and the lady yells out, "That's my thong." I just lost it. I could not quit laughing. The thing wrapped around my arm.
Did you keep them just for like a keepsake?
They were so big I couldn't find a place to pack them anywhere. All the other stuff.
You could have used it as a blanket or a cape, like an Elvis cape.
Yes, yeah. There you go. There you go. Yeah, she had a good sense of humor. She was a fun lady.
Really cool. So I know you were talking about performing in different places and you performed everywhere. Do you have a particular place that you just really like in awe of, like you can't believe you're here?
When I did the Grand Ole Opry, and that was standing on the stage there at the Grand Ole Opry was just they got that circle that they took out of the old Ryman Theater where all the big stars back then, way back when, stood, and that was just it was just awestruck. Another thing that comes to mind when I got to do the halftime at Nebraska for their football game, my daughter Mindy was on the flag squad, and they featured Elvis music that day. So he asked if anybody knew anybody, and of course she put her hand up, and so I got to go there, do that, and her and I did a little dance thing out there with the Husker band and stuff. And that was another fun time.
What year was that?
Was it I want to say 2003, 2004, something like that.
I believe that's about when my brother was playing because I think I remember seeing this.
Yeah. They brought me in on a golf cart and I had my cape spread out like that, and it was fun.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was there. I think I remember
It
that.
was fun. And then I got to do the Star Spangled Banner at a couple of the Stars hockey games. Yes.
Those are fun. We just did one of those.
Those are scary though because you got to walk out on that ice. And one time I just about lost it, and thank God the referee was behind me and caught me.
Well,
And then
this looks like you're doing Elvis moves.
Yeah, it looked like Fred Flintstone with those legs going like that. But I'm glad he was there to catch me because I'd have been down. And of course, my buddy at that time turned the spotlight on up there and made sure everybody could see it.
They're like, Elvis can really move, man. I mean, he's got it on this one.
God, he does Fred Flintstone too.
Man, is there anything you haven't done, Bill? I mean, you've really hit it hard over the years. I mean, you're talking about the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, that has to feel. I still watch the Opry every week. Yeah, the Opry. Like, how do you feel? How'd you feel playing there?
It wasn't the Grand Ole Opry. It was for a contest down there, and they did it at the Grand Ole Opry on that stage. So there was 100. I think there was 103 or 105 people there, and I got third place on that. So it was an amazing weekend as well there. But like I said, it was just there's just something about it that just I can't even describe how it makes you feel that all the different artists through the years have stood in that same spot. It's amazing.
Yeah, and with Nashville in general, right, has to just feel for somebody who loves country music like you do. So I got to ask you. I mean, we're talking about country anyway. What really draws you to country more? I mean, are you a rocker also? Do you like different classic rock bands? What draws you?
I cut my chops on Leonard Skinner and ZZ Top, and I still do. I do LaGrange in my show, and I do this wild guitar. Then there's a video. I think there's a video on my website of me playing this guitar thing at the end. It's kind of like Eddie Van Halen meets Jimi Hendrix. So that's how I describe it. And it's like I said, it's my whole show takes me different genres of music, which I love because I like. Sometimes I want to rock, sometimes I want to get a little funky, and so I do all that music during my show. The newest one that I think I'm doing is Toby Keith's "Don't Let the Old Man In." I just like the way it's laid back and get the acoustic out and get to it.
90s country had some killer. I mean, I could listen to a radio station of that. I mean,
it's incredible, the 90s. Yeah.
So with performances and all of that, I know you're doing a ton right now. So, and where can we find you as far as like websites, social media? What are some of dates coming up that you're going to perform? Because maybe I would like to hire you to play somewhere, and I want to find you.
You can get on my website, and it's my name, Bill Chrastil, and it's BILLCHRASTIL.com. And it's got my schedule, and it's always updated on there. And of course, I got my Facebook page, and we have a Facebook page, and then my music page, and then I also have a fan page as well. And I have a gal, Kay Masher, that sells tickets for my shows. and she also books our bus tours. And we're heading to Branson this November, and we're taking about 56 people with us on a bus down there to celebrate Christmas, Veterans Day in Branson. So we do a lot of things like that as well. June 6th, I'm going to be at the Fireman's Hall here, and we're doing a senior prom for seniors, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be, I think we start at 7, and she's going to have like a happy hour, and you can go on my website and get tickets for that as well. June 14th, I'm going to be at the Antelope Park for the Veterans show there, and that's always a lot of fun. And I always do no matter what show I do, I always do a song for our veterans because we cannot thank them enough. And those are the two biggest things I have coming up here around Lincoln coming up in June.
Well, I was going to ask you as well. Do you remember that it was a restaurant / club, I guess, the Drumstick here in Lincoln?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, man, because we're going to have a little reunion kind of thing at Kelly's Pub. And we talked to Kathy Lohmeyer, one of the family members from there, and it's May 25th, and we would love it if you would show up.
May 20, I'm going to write that down. May 25th.
Isn't it? Yep, there are going to be all kinds of musicians that played their friends, family. Anybody's welcome, but I bet it would just be, we would all be tickled pink if you came.
I will try. What time is it? What time does that start?
May 25th, 2:00 at Kelly's Pub.
2:00. Okay.
It'd be pretty, because I knew you were going to remember the Drumstick, and I was going to ask you if you ever performed there.
I didn't. I went out there a few times, but I never performed there.
Well, maybe we'll have to bring some chicken or something and reenact it.
But that's a Lincoln icon too. The Drumstick, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, we got the Zoo Bar. Have you played? Have you done any?
No shows at the Zoo Bar either. Been there a couple times as well, and I'm so glad that's still going.
Me too. There's a couple of bars around here that they're gone, and it's sad. And I think the bar's still going. The Grove, somewhat. I mean, it's here. The building's up. It's great. They're doing good, but a lot of neat some history there. But I know Branson, you're really close to that. I mean, the radio station, you're the most wanted on there on the Branson radio. I mean, come on now.
Well, it's a blessing. It truly is a blessing. And I still have a couple of good friends down there, and I recommend their shows to everybody because they're just phenomenal. And so you get a lot of great talent. But you know what? Speaking of talent, Lincoln and Omaha, and even the state of Nebraska, there's all kinds of super talent in this town, in Omaha and Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Just amazing.
Well, Bill, that's kind of really how our show started, is that we saw the need to start really promoting again, how great the talent here is in our own town and in our area. And I warn you, because if you start getting requests to play in Sweden and Germany, we want to thank our listeners. We have a lot of listeners all over the world right now. And it would not surprise me if they thought they could get a great Elvis impersonator to come overseas. So again, shout out to our great listeners all around the world.
Great.
Bill, I warn you, if you start getting books from some places you haven't heard of,
I'll let you know.
Because you came on Scratch the Vinyl today.
Absolutely. I want to tell you a little bit about the show I do now. It's about 2.5 hours. And I start with a kind of a Branson theme. And my first part is a lot of variety of the country, the 50s, 60s, 70s. And I'll throw in a classic rock song in there as well, because I gotta play the guitar, man. I gotta drip back when I was 15 years old and do something on the guitar. And then I'll take a break, and then I come back, and that's when I do the tribute to Elvis. And sometimes I'll do the 50s Elvis. Sometimes I'll do the 68. And most times I do the Las Vegas Elvis with the jumpsuits. And I keep telling myself, last week I was in Waterloo, Iowa, and I did Suspicious Minds. And I was just, for some reason, I said, man, 66 years old and still doing this song. Because when you go down to do that split thing and come back up, it's never going down is never hard. Coming back up once in a while is like, okay, come on, babe.
I think I can't even believe you can do that. I was a dancer. Okay. I was a dancer in high school, not a stripper, guys. Okay. We have to, I always have to say that. And I can't even barely get my, kick my leg up. And you're over there doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Well,
And you're good at it.
got to train. I tell you, I work out. I know that if I'm going to do it, I got to 6 days a week. I work out, take Sundays off, but stretching for me is the most important thing.
Absolutely. And you rock that uniform too, or that outfit, man. It is so cool looking. Do you have have somebody actually make it, or do you know somebody, or did you buy?
I have a company that I use. A lot of the guys use B&K Enterprises, and that's where we get they do nothing but Elvis costumes, and they're all replicas of what Elvis actually wore on stage.
I mean, it's spot on.
They do an incredible job. Yep.
Well, the person wearing it is really
You're so nice.
I'm telling you, you're perfect.
Your work ethic and everything that you still put into your shows. I mean, that's why you're still doing it. I mean, let's just be honest. You have to put in the work and to keep your body in shape and to just, be prepared every time to keep going out there. And honestly, that's obviously why you're still going strong.
It truly is. When I don't get a chance to work out and I got to go do a show, I can feel the difference. I just don't feel it as sharp as when I get to work out before I go. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Well, there's a lesson for all you young musicians out there is Bill's basically telling you what to do. Don't do what I did. Don't watch the whistle with whiskey and eat all sorts of garbage. I bet I couldn't smash this body into an Elvis costume if I wanted to. It'd be like a sausage in there.
I did a casino, the Riverside Casino, and I was my last time there. The general manager was actually the bar manager was telling me. He said, "Well, I had this young group come in here, and there's 4 guys on stage, and they thought they had to take a break about every 40 minutes." He said, "I went over and told him, I said, I got this old guy that comes in here by himself, and he goes 3 hours straight and doesn't take a break." I said, "Well, thanks for the compliment, the old guy." He said, "Now get back up there on stage."
Yeah, but those kids, I try to tell my children, I'm like, don't be hitting, football. Be careful. Do everything careful because pretty soon that hip, those knees, those feet, the
It
fingers,
catches up.
it
Yeah.
catches. But man, you sound like you could probably run a marathon and beat us all.
I don't know about that, but I know what I got to do to keep doing what I'm doing, and I still love it. When I was in martial arts, a guy told me a long time ago. He said, "Well, you did the hard part." And I said, "What was that?" He says, "Coming through the door." That was the hard part. And that was absolutely right.
Bill, man, I tell you what, it has been great catching back up with you today, and I really hope everybody gets a chance to see this episode and take away from it what we have is that you've been doing this a long time. You're doing it at a high level, and you're just doing a great job. And we couldn't be more happy to have you here on the show today. And thanks for your time, man, and thanks for coming out and keeping live music going strong here in Lincoln, around the area.
Thanks for inviting me.
Well, I'm really glad that I happened to run into you.
Yes.
My friend Val and Terry, and they said, "Oh yeah, go talk to him." And I'm so glad that I did because, man, you are an awesome performer. You're so much fun, and I cannot wait to see you again.
We'll do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I definitely hope to have you. Maybe we'll contact you for one of these shows that we're putting together or something. It would be amazing to have you around. It really would.
Anytime. Just give me a call.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Bill. You're definitely what we're looking for. I can't think of somebody in the local area who is as talented as you are. I mean, you've been doing this for such a long time, and it's not just you're the old guy. I mean, you're actually the rock veteran around here, and we absolutely appreciate you being on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. Well, we blasted through another one. We're just having so much fun. I mean, we lost track of time. I know you guys are loving these guests, and here's just another example of why Scratch the Vinyl is the the place to go when it comes to the guests, especially in the Lincoln, Nebraska area, but all around the world. So for the millions of listeners out there, tune in next week for another episode of
Scratch the Vinyl.